up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are taking a look at one of the co-leaders from warwhales, Alex 17. And Alex is our in-house dragon lord. Like, this guy's just really good with dragons for some reason, and I I love watching it. I hate playing it with him because I'm not very good with dragons, and he always is just like, "Oh, there's dragons here," and then I'm like, "I don't see it." But base number 4 and 22. So let's take a look at 4. He planned this out with another guy in our clan, didn't plan it out with me. 22, me and him planned together, and both of them are unconventional, and both of them are amazing attacks. So let's try to take a look and break down what makes this base good for Dragobat. So he, obviously, dragons, it's either at this point like mash dragons with all your rage spells and heal spells and freezes, or it's clone dragons or Dragbat being the most prominent. So first thing that jumps out to everyone should be the 4 expos, 2 singles, and the town hall down here at 6 o'clock with the CC, right? So taking into consideration how heavy of a ground defense this is down here at the back, if you come in with something with like air, like dragons or Lalo, you're essentially nullifying the backside of that base. Okay, so the only thing you really have to worry about too much is the town hall and 2 single infernos, right? So what else on this base seems like something that we would have to deal with would be the enemy queen, single inferno, and eagle. RC is also in the mix, but it's all right here at 12 o'clock. So what Alex is going to actually kind of realize is that if he can get this area funnel and then kind of shoot his royal champion here to take care of a bunch of this, especially this wizard tower being key, then he's starting to make a good path through the base here for his dragons, right? Because he definitely wants these scatter shots down. And then there's 2 air defenses on this side with 1 wizard tower. But if you take into account the RC getting that wizard tower over there, that is the last splash defense other than the scatter shots in the base. And dragons can handle a scatter shot no problem. Now the issue that he's going to run into is if this is his pathing for his dragons, if that's what he wants, and he's using his king and queen, or king and RC over here, and he's going to use his queen down at 6, how does he funnel this? Well, he's going to come in with an E-drag to start making this funnel. But the unconventional part of this attack is going to be the siege barracks. So the siege barracks is actually going to allow him to clear this whole side. And then what's going to come out of the siege barracks is a lava hound. And that lava hound is going to tank for the dragons as they deal with this compartment and the scatter shot. And it's going to come out just as these dragons are coming through this corner. So this air defense is not going to do any damage to his dragons. So very, very smart idea here, realizing that you can get the P.E.K.K.A. and the wizards to kind of add a ton of funnel value, which is essentially half of the battle when you're using dragons. So let's look at the rest of the base to kind of see what is kind of the sweet spot for the dragons. So this is going to go down to the RC, and then everything in here is going to be taken out by the dragons, right? So that's kind of his dragon, RC, siege barracks, and then you can see with all that down, this will be tanked in the tank on the dragons in the core. So everything on the back end through here doesn't really matter where you start it, just as long as you pick the right initial building for the bats. Everything kind of passed through here. And again, you got 2 single infernos. He's going to use the queen down here on Asui on her own, wall break in. He's going to get the town hall and these 2 wizard towers. So that essentially means that the only air targeting defenses back here are the infernos. Bats have no problem with infernos. So the difficult part with bats, and something that is worth pointing out, is while these are ground expos and these are single infernos, they are still very high hit points, and without a rage spell, it does take bats a fair amount of time to get through that, which will lead to like this air defense and this archer tower and these infernos kind of picking off a good number of your bats. So they're not just going to fly through there and just crush everything. You don't have to worry about any damage per se, but your bats aren't going to, just crush through the rest of the base instantly and, swag 5 dragons or anything like that. This is essentially using, a 5 spell spots or 6 spell spots in order to get these 6 defenses. So don't think that, your drag bat is just going to crush through every base, even if they're all on ground. You have to account for that and then be realistic about how far your bats are going to get so you can make the plan for where your dragons are going to get. And that's going to be right in here. The bats are going to kind of die out after clearing all this, but he's going to have 4 free spells. He's going to keep everything frozen in here, not needing it for his bat wave, and he's going to crush this base. So dragons, number one thing is, where can I find my Sui value? He's going to get huge Sui value here, especially for dragons, right? And then he's going to get big Sui value for his king, but also his RC, taking out key defenses for a dragon rate, air defense, and then key defenses for the bats, which would be the wizard tower, okay? And then being intuitive and realizing he can make a nice funnel here using a siege barracks, which you don't normally see on a bat wave or a drag bat plan, okay? Usually you keep it all air. And that is the plan, and it works. About that, I got a phone call right when I hit attack, and that ends up pausing my video. So instead of re-recording a bunch of content, I'm gonna just pick up where I left off. So we all know the plan, we all know the base identification. Let's see how he executes here. Big shout out to Alex, man. He's a very intuitive attacker and doesn't give himself enough credit, but I'm here to give him all the credit he needs and deserves. So he's gonna start off with his king, and then he's gonna start with his queen. Queen is gonna get an ice golem just to kind of tank for. We're not going to pay too much attention to the queen Sui because he's just going to wrap down here towards 9 o'clock. Not a big deal for him. But we're going to kind of angle the camera so we can see the RC coming in and we can see the queen doing her work. Now, recognizing that he's going to get the majority of these defenses with his bats, he wants his RC to swing up towards 12 for her Sui. So that's exactly where he's going to drop her, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get this air defense, and she's going to chain through a bunch of buildings up top, making it so that the dragons have even tighter pathing. Queen steps in here, gets the town hall under the ability, and finds 2 ground skellies, which is good for his dragon attack. She's going to die out there. The CC is going to go over here to the barbarian. Now the tricky part with this plan was, because he's using a siege barracks, that the P.E.K.K.A. and wizards are going to pull that ice golem across the base. Finds an unlucky Sam on that electro dragon, but I mean, sometimes you just get the short end of the stick, and this P.E.K.K.A. and these wizards are going to do a good enough job to funnel anyway. Gets an early rage down going into this enemy RC and enemy queen. Tome through the single, and now you can start seeing that the dragons are going to be inside that path that we kind of slotted them out for at the beginning, right? So his RC got everything we planned on getting. Queen got the town hall and 2 wizard towers. So besides the scatter shots, there's only 1 splash damage defense in the base. Now this scatter is going to be tanked on these dragons. This scatter is going to be tanked on these dragons. You're going to have a hound and some loons coming out of the siege barracks to sit on this air defense. So everything's pretty much accounted for at this point in the base. Everything's going exactly to plan. Got 5 bats. Ends up using the bat bomb there just so he can guarantee that he gets a scatter shot, and gets kind of lucky with the red bombs. But in my opinion, the rage would have been better served over the expos, because you can see that the bats kind of split out of the rage and didn't really get the full effect. And here's why I talked about the HP eventually dwindling them down. He doesn't have a ton of bats left, but he does have 3 free spells. So he's going to start freezing that air defense. Dragon splitting to the scatter shot. Air defense goes down. Inferno's getting tanked by those bats that are remaining. And scatter shot stays up. He should have froze it. Should have froze it. I think the warden's actually going to clutch it. Or this balloon. Maybe he freezes it. Two dragons go get it. There we go. Finds a tornado. Seems to be a reoccurring thing that people in my clans find tornadoes at the end of the attack. But ends up swagging a freeze. Doesn't need it. Very good plan. These plans are actually more crucial than people realize because nobody in the clan liked this base. Because people hate bases like this. I absolutely detest bases like this. So having people like Alex who can recognize that their preferred strategy with dragons or whatever it might be, will work. These guys are instrumental to success as a clan. So having one of these guys as clan leaders is even better. So we're going to get into the one that we planned out together. And this came at a very clutch point in the war. So I think this put us down like 2 triples. And we had like 8 attacks left. It was very, very clutch. So again, reoccurring theme. Expos all by the town hall. You do have one on air, but that's still not big enough to dissuade the dragon attack. And then you have both scatters here. 1 and 2. Multi, single. So multi-inferno is not a big deal for dragons whatsoever. All right. So we're not going to get too far in depth with this one. Just realize that his this attack, I think, could have tripled without using the bats. All right. So instead of talking through it and then replaying it, I'm going to replay it, pause it as we talk through it. Okay. This was an overwhelming 3-star, and I was very impressed. I was on voice like, damn, dude, I'm making a video on this. So this base, again, was giving us problems. No one really wanted to hit it. A lot of our guys in clan are queen charge players, and this just wasn't looking like a queen charge base. So Alex, doing what he does best, comes to us and said, don't worry, boys, I got it. King's going to come in. Going to get a wall break, send in this queen and this ice golem for the single, the RC, and the scatter shot. So getting huge value. Single locks on the king. I hate that. But gets what he needs. All it was there for is really the funnel. Finds a tornado trap in the beginning this time, which is OP. Queen's going to do her thing there. Some sneaky gobs, creating his funnel. Those things are amazing funnel troops, especially for these Suis. The multis not doing anything to this Royal Champ. And you can kind of see what he's planning on doing here. So let me go ahead and pause it. Pulls the CC. That's not going to be a big deal. He's got an archer to draw it out. But this is where he's coming with his dragons. So the RC is going to clean this out. So his dragons are coming straight through the base. He's going to send a blimp. Oh, good job, Ghost. Nice YouTuber. So this is his path for his dragons. He's going to send a blimp right behind his dragons because this sweeper is pointed this way and this sweeper is pointed this way. So he's made a channel in between the sweepers, perfect for his dragons. And then again, wizard tower, scatter shot. This scatter shot's down. Only splash damage is over here, and his RC is going to get this inferno, and he is going to just kind of smash this base with the dragons and not really need the bats. So RC gets the multi. It's going to die after that. He didn't think that it was going to get the multi. I told him it would, but I didn't want him like banking on it, but I knew it was going to get the multi. He was pretty shocked and happy when that happened. I was on voice like, Archer, like drop your Archer, bro. You're going to pull the hound. And he eventually gets it like just in the nick of time. But as you can see, perfect funnel. Dragons, funneling from the outside in. Blimp comes through. We called Tome like right there because of enemy queen. And then watch just how far he gets without the bats. Uses the rage on the dragons. Freeze. I mean, I don't think he needed the bat bomb or the bat wave, but he's going to use it anyway. He's going to just make sure he safely gets down this wizard tower, realizing that's the last splash damage in the base. Those red bombs, man. Scary, scary moments. And he crushes the backside of this base. Got like 4 full health dragons up. One of them's going down, but not a big deal at all. Still got a freeze in the bag. Seems to be Alex swags a lot of freeze spells. and he's just really nasty with these dragons. So bats are really terrible at cleaning up on storages, but when you have this many dragons up, he's got a goblin going around. It's gonna die, but I mean these dragons just gonna clean up. Swag's the free spell. Really, really nice attack from Alex. If you're not confident with something like Yetis, if you're not confident with something like Queen Charge Lalo, and you're kind of feeling, stuck in that one dimension, maybe like your Queen Charge hybrid. A lot of people are kind of stuck in that dimension right now. Uh, Dragons are a great thing to work out because they follow a lot of the same principle of funneling as like a hybrid, except you're not using like a Queen Charge to get it done. Okay, and there's not a lot of spell support for the dragons, especially on a drag bat. Usually it's only like one or two rages, but if you're really good at funneling and you're really good at like finding Sui value and recognizing like splash damage here, point defense here, uh, dragons are a very not easy. I won't say it's easy because it's not, but it's a very fluid thing to get into. It doesn't take too much figuring out. Once you can start seeing it, you just see it. Like Alex sees these bases and thinks dragons, where as I'm like next base because I hate those anti-2 troll bases, and that's the difference. So even myself, and I've been working on stuff like Lalo and dragons because these anti-2 bases are a lot more prevalent, and Queen Charge hybrid, Queen Charge Lalo, stuff like that, Yetis, they're not always the best bet for those because a lot of those anti-2s are built specifically to deny those strategies. So you got to think outside the box, and that's what Alex is good at. So very nice job, brother. It was a pleasure planning that out, and I was very pleased with your performance in the clutchest moments of this war. So very nice job, boy. Du hast, I think is what y'all said. Du hast. Alex is German, so du hast, brother. Thank you to my wife, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.